Yes, sir.
Walk to Frederick, we can bike to Frederick, we can jog to Frederick, but we won't be able to take a trolley.
That's right.
County council's going to deliver that for us, they've already assured us. I'm going to take an opportunity here to skip a question, and we'll, if we have time, we'll get back to it. We don't want to keep you here all night, but as we progress through our question prioritization process, we ran across something that was kind of interesting. We got people wearing yellow shirts knocking at our door. And so I'm going to read you what we put together about this. On the ballot on November 6th are several questions, among which is one labeled Question D. As election day comes closer, tension has intensified. It'll probably change the role of the county executive, at least in part, for some. And as we understand it, and we need to understand it better, and we're going to ask you to help us there, if we approve it, it would amend the county charter to provide collective bargaining rights and binding arbitration for career firefighters. Now just think about that. We all consider municipal services as part of what our taxes provide. But suddenly this unusual question comes to light. We're not for it or against it, but we want to hear more about it, and we'd like to ask you to enlighten us some. And Earl, we'll start with you.
If it passes, yes, it would be a part of the charter government. And I'm on record and as supporting Amendment D. It would provide, in my opinion, it would provide good faith bargaining. So that's why I support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, we have had good faith bargaining with our firefighters, and they do have collective bargaining now, so I think that's important for you to know. This charter amendment would provide for expanded topic areas for collective bargaining, and it would provide for binding arbitration that mandates that whatever an arbiter would decide would be funded in the budget that's under discussion at the time. So first of all, the county council could pass a law for expanded collective bargaining and actually for binding arbitration as well. I don't think this should be passed as a part of the charter, because then you can't go back and readily change it like you could with the law. So I think that is one of the challenges with this being a charter amendment. I do support having expanded collective bargaining for our firefighters, because I think we should be willing to talk about any topic they want to bring to the table to talk about. I do have concern with the binding arbitration component of it and the way it is written, because it would have a significant potential impact on our budget, have potential to be unfair to other employee groups, and you would have somebody making a budget decision that is not elected by you. So I think if we had different language about the binding arbitration, it might be something I could support, but the way it's written is, I think, I have concerns about it.
Kathy, talk to us about that.
So you can imagine that I do have a difference of opinion with the county executive about one of the things that she brought up. And I do agree with her on one of the other things. The way I agree with her is that I do not believe that question D should pass. But I understand the historic perspective as to what brought the firefighters to this point. The firefighters, the career firefighters in Frederick County, believe that they have tried in this administration to work with the county executive that they've had demands, that they've had issues that they have not been able to resolve. They believe that they have not been bargained with in good faith. And this is what has led them to this point. So while I don't agree that this question D should pass, I hope that it does not pass, I will, as the next county executive, negotiate in good faith with the firefighters. When I say something in a room, I will be true to my word. I will not leave the room and do something other than what I have promised in that room. And I think that's the challenge we have right now with the firefighters. There is no trust for the executive level. And when I'm the county executive, that's going to change.
Thank you all for addressing that question. That is important, and it's one that our voters don't understand quite as well, so I think that helps. So this is one that we decided to elevate on our list of priorities because we can't avoid it. Everybody in this room, many that are not here, are pretty worried about the crisis we have with opioids. Unbelievable what this is doing to our county and our community. Dramatic effect on families, on individuals, on relatives, friends. It's just unbelievable. And we know that this is not completely your work, but we want to know what your role should be in this. And what can you all do? If you're the county executive, what will you do to make this improve? And we'll start with Jan.
Okay, the heroin and opioid crisis is truly a crisis. In Frederick County, we have on average one person overdose every day and one fatality every week. And that is a very sobering statistic. So when I became the county executive, I put together what we call a heroin consortium, which brings all the stakeholders to the table. So we have law enforcement, we have our school system, we have healthcare providers, the hospital, substance abuse treatment providers, we have nonprofit organizations, the faith community, drug court, and a whole variety of others. And we meet regularly to make sure that we are collaborating and moving in the right direction. We have added what we call peer recovery coaches in our health department. There's paid staff and volunteers that do this, but we have paid staff that are embedded in the emergency department at the hospital. So when somebody comes in and has an overdose and they're to be released, we try to connect with that person to connect them with resources and treatment options because we think that's important. And that's been successful about 65% of the time. We have Narcan training, Narcan, to revive people. That's our first responders, and hundreds of other people have been trained to use that. And most recently, we have put up a grant fund, about $700,000, to try to incentivize a detox center in Frederick County, which is a place where people could go for 5 to 8 days to really come off the drugs in a medically supervised way. We've offered an option of a portion of the work release center that is basically empty, that would be completely separated from the other population. For that, we did have a bid award for that this week, and we did have about 18 people show up for that, which is hopeful. There is a lot more I could say about this. One of our great challenges is that drugs become stronger and stronger as they mix with fentanyl and carfentanol. And it is affecting people of all ages, all incomes, all parts of our county. But we are doing all we can with education, awareness, and really at the end of the day, we need to expand that treatment so that there is hope for recovery for people.
Addressing that subject.
So it's just a very sensitive topic for me. We've been asked this question several times. I just lost my brother earlier this year. He'd been an addict most of his adult life. It's not a political issue. It is an issue that I think any one of the three of us has the heart to try to tackle. I do believe that we need to work closer with the faith community in Frederick County. Some of these faith organizations, churches, and so forth, they're very fired up about this issue and do want to work with the county. So I want to make sure that we work that into whatever our challenges are. The beds, there just are not enough treatment beds in Frederick County at all. I must get a few calls a month from parents that are desperate to get their young child or their teenager or their young adult into a treatment bed, and the beds just aren't there. They just don't exist. We've tried as a delegation to bring money back, matching grants for local organizations that are offering treatment. It's way too little. It's still not enough. It truly is an epidemic, but I think we all just have to try to work together with the county, with those faith organizations to try to find solutions to this plague. It really is just a terrible situation.
Well, I think we first need to continue to fund the budget for the sheriff's department so that they can help put away the